what is it going to take to get to the next level of sound quality, of sound reproduction at home? I have some ideas. I kind of know what it isn't. I don't think it's ever higher resolution. I don't think that's what's required here. I don't think it's flatter frequency response. I don't think it's greater stereo separation. I don't think it's more channels of speakers. No, I don't think it's quieter recordings. I don't think it's any of those things that are so easy to point to. Lower distortion. No, I don't think that's it. There's some X factor at play. You know, it's like, well, I have a word for it, and I've referred to this over the last year or so. One of my friends was now, putting it back to me, and the word is density. That there's some other factor that makes things sound more real. We get hints of it. Some recordings have it, some speakers have it, some electronics have it, some digital converters have it. Analog audio, for all of its imperfections, has greater density of sound. I think if you think about when you're listening critically, as I do for a living, when you listen critically and say, does that really sound real, whatever you're listening to? Does it sound real? I got a new amplifier, I got new speakers. Does it sound more real now? Well, maybe. But I think that thing that's making us have that feeling is something that I'm calling density. There's more there. And recordings that have less density, maybe that's a better way of describing this, recordings that are less dense are more, well, ghostly. There's less tangibility to the recording. It's just sort of there. You can put your hand through it. You can always put your hand through sound, but you know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel as solid. Stereo, the Greek word for solid, something like that. We need more of this X factor, more density to the sound. Getting there, well, but like some people say, well, it's the speakers, multi-driver speakers with tweeters and mid-ranges and woofers and stuff. The sound's broken up into too many pieces. That's the problem. If we only had a full range driver that could go from 20 hertz to 20K or 40K or something, that's what we need. And I said, we already got that. It's called headphones. Full-size, high-end headphones have a single driver that gives you the full bandwidth, no crossover network. And the other great thing about headphones, speaking of headphones, is they eliminate the room. All the problems of your room that you need room treatment to cure or try to cure, don't need them for headphones, right? Pop on the headphones, room disappears. And headphones, as good as they are in terms of resolving tiny details and resolution issues in sound recordings, headphones are really, really good. Really good. Better than any speaker, really, in those terms. But in terms of sounding real, well, headphones bring their whole different set of problems, right? That the sound is inside your head, or, as I like to say, around your head. So headphones don't do it. Speakers don't do it. Digital doesn't do it. Analog doesn't do it. Analog has its own set of problems. But I keep circling around that vinyl, despite all of its imperfections, which are many, has more of that dense quality that I'm looking for. Now, of course, I'm not presuming here that I have the answer to this question, like what do we have to break through to get to this next level? I'm not pretending here to have all the answers. I'm just sort of posing the question and coming up with my theory. But if you guys have another way of seeing this, or what should we be looking for to get to this next level of sound reproduction at home that makes music sound more like it's real? And I say to you guys that it isn't resolution, it's not flatter frequency response, it's not lower distortion, it's not more channels, speakers and stuff. No, not room treatment. No, it's not those things. Well, I think the problem starts at the source, and the source of almost all recorded music are microphones. And I think microphones are the stumbling block that we need, that we collectively, that we need a better form of microphone, a complete reinvention of the microphone that hears sound in a different way than a capsule vibrating in sympathy to the source. I think it needs a different pattern of pickup. Maybe a different kind of array of microphones is required to do that. I'm grasping here because there's no easy answer. Because, we've been perfecting, the industry has been perfecting recorded sound for over 100 years. It's gotten better, it's gotten cleaner, it's gotten more transparent, lower in distortion. Absolutely. But we're still so far away from hearing perfect sound forever. Some of my friends love electrostatic speakers, and I lived with Quad 63s for 8 years. I got deep into electrostatic sound, and I found it to be highly transparent. I wasn't totally on board in terms of their tonality being as good as a good multi-driver box speaker, or Magnepans even. But in terms of purity of sound, quad speakers, electrostatic speakers, all really good electrostatic speakers, not just quads, they deliver heightened levels of clarity and purity. But to me, I have a problem with it, that the clearer it gets, but without the accompanying density of, can I use the word richness? Body, soul, dimensionality, palpability, that sort of thing. I don't really get that from electrostatic speakers. Maybe I'm missing something, because I know people, some of my best friends, do feel that quads and electrostatic speakers can do that. So maybe there's some sort of disconnect in the way I'm hearing them. And I've lived with electrostatic headphones, Stax most obviously, and they're very, very clear. But when it came down to electrostatic headphones versus planar magnetics like Audeze and Hi-Fi Man, I was definitely on the side of those, because those, while less transparent, the planar magnetics, less transparent, but they had more guts to the sound, more to the sound itself. And I was willing to sacrifice some of that transparency of electrostatics to get more of that meat on the bone sound of a good planar magnetic. I wish I could make this easier. I wish I could make this simpler. I wish I could say, I know what it's going to take, and here's what we need to do, gang. Let's go do it. Well, I'm not that smart. So there's one other word I want to throw into the mix here, and that is effortless. And by that I mean that the sound, as the music gets louder or more dynamic or just more, that it just feels like it just happens without increasing strain or distortion or cringing, like, oh, it's getting louder. No, it just is. It's effortless in the way the music can just expand and get bigger or louder or more bass or more this or more. It just is. Because that's what real life music sounds like. When I'm talking about this, I'm really talking about unamplified music, just to keep it simple. Because sound coming out of amplifiers or sound coming out of speakers and reproducing the sound of speakers over a speaker is less of a stretch. But reproducing the sound of a piano, of a xylophone, of a tuba, that's different, because I think partially because it is more complex, the sound of real instruments. A violin, the purity of a violin tone, a string tone, is a whole other level of beauty and density, and just there's more there. So I think we've plateaued. I think that's what's happening now. I think in terms of getting sound that's more realistic, denser, more complete, I don't see any changes happening in the next 5 years, 10 years, or maybe longer, right? There needs to be some other aspect, other than what I alluded to earlier, a different type of microphone array, some other way of capturing sound that we don't have right now. And we don't have anything really like that. But if you have an idea of what it's going to take, tell me all about it. I'm all ears. I want to know please, I want to know. I want to know what we need to do to get there. So if you've got any ideas that aren't just better versions of what we already have, meaning higher resolution, lower distortion, all that stuff, I think we're good on those terms. We need another thing, a different way of approaching this problem. And you know what? My name is Steve. Here's what I know for sure. My name is Steve Guttenberg. This is the Audiophiliac Daily Show. We're getting closer and closer to 200,000 subscribers, and you can be part of this next surge to 200,000. And you know how you can do it? So simple. Much easier than getting to that next level of sound quality. All you got to do, super easy, is hit that button right down there. When you do, hit the freaking bell so you'll be notified every time there's an amazing new episode of this thing called the Audiophiliac Daily Show. You know what's coming up real soon? Oh, I did another interview, a face-to-face interview with my pal Herb Reichert. And that's going to come up real soon. I went to his apartment without mask. We both had our double shots. And it was just so much fun to just let the magic happen with Herb. So I'm excited about that. That's going to post very, very soon. But you could also check, you want magic? Check out the Patreon at patreon.com/Audiophiliac. And while you're here, you know the drill. You could check out the playlist for speaker reviews and headphone reviews and electronics reviews and music reviews, plus playlists. I have a playlist for speaker placement. I have a playlist for speaker placement tips. I have, viewer systems. I got all kinds of cool stuff for you guys, plus interviews, of course. And I don't know if you've seen the interview that I just did with Frank. Oh my God, Frank was such a joy to be around. He's an audiophile. He is a passionate music lover and an incredible chef. And I'm not just saying he's an incredible chef. I've been eating his food for over 20 years. And anyway, to be in his presence, to do this interview was so much fun. And I think that comes through the screen. I hope so. Anyway, I think my work here is at last complete. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope to see you back here again very, very soon. Bye-bye.